Yes.
Jay and the Thriller Priest, give us the lowdown on what is Ready Player One.
All right, Ready Player One. I don't have the official description in front of me, but hey, I'm giving it
Like
down
I said,
dirty.
I'm gonna give you the. Okay.
I'm giving it down and dirty.
All
So
right.
Ready Player One is a dystopian future movie,
In the dystopian
just highlighting the fact that America's in a pretty crummy way,
America's
and
down the tubes.
and now everybody's
Nice.
just jumping deep into the Oasis, a virtual reality
Balls
distraction.
In the Oasis.
A virtual reality distraction that is helping individuals to be able
The
to,
Gallagher brothers run the world.
to be.
Wait, sorry, wrong kind of Oasis. Wrong Oasis, my
I
bad.
was gonna keep walking with you.
And the Wonderwall keeps getting bigger and bigger.
and they fight each other.
Don't
The
look
world-
back in anger when
The
you
world
go.
is falling under a champagne supernova.
Hey, Lila, watch out. Yeah.
It's okay, because somewhere you will find me. Company for
Oh, yo, so this is based off the book by Ernest Cline, highlighting America's crummy situation while people are escaping through the Oasis virtual reality multiplayer game, effectively, in which individuals are locked in, and their goal is to be able to collect 3 keys in order for them to unlock the fortune of James Holliday, who was the one who created the Oasis, who died. He left, $500 billion in there, so you got to go use all these different 80s trivia in order for you to be able to get to this Easter egg. This movie is like a nerd's dream. That was written, back in 2011 when the book was written?
Was it?
a little
No, earlier. Because
It's
I remember
It's definitely older than that.
the audiobook
Yeah.
was available in 2006. I can at least verify
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that.
you're right.
It's
So-
quite
so
a
a
bit.
minute
It's
ago,
quite
so-
a bit.
Actually, what, they like 04 probably? I mean, it was a minute ago when this book was written. So folks
Sometime
so
after 1982.
So my question is,
So the kicker is, hold on a second. So the kicker is, Warner actually picked it up, I think, in 2011. So Warner actually had the rights to it,
Okay.
and they were trying to figure out who was going to be able to direct it. And of course, Spielberg's one who directs it. And I think it's a damn good movie.
This is
This
one of
is
his-
great.
this
But
is-
Adam's going
I-
to say something
well,
before
well,
I stopped you there.
Well, hold on a second. Okay, go ahead.
no, I was just asking because all the references in this movie, and when you see the previews and everything, and obviously when you see the movie, you see like references to everything 80s. How did they get the rights to all this stuff?
Well, I think having Spielberg behind it, I'm glad
Right, but like I'm
having
like you got to
Spielberg behind it is one
pay
of the-
like a lot of
It's
things.
legit
Like,
took
you know what I
3
mean?
years to
How
get
did how much did this movie cost? And how
It's-
much do you have to pay to?
Here's
get
one thing
the
that I
licenses?
noticed: a lot of this movie was essentially a love letter to the works of Steven Spielberg, and I think
Yeah.
that really
Well,
pushed.
no one
their
captures the
clout.
imagination.
Brother, you
of,
gonna
like,
tell
the
me-
two-
No, I'm telling you, because
All right.
Spielberg went out of his way to try to prevent that from happening as much, because the book is chock full of Spielberg.
The book absolutely is, but also the book has like 10 pages devoted to appreciation of like Chicago and Rush. You know, so I mean, the book is all over the place. They
It's got good taste,
did a good
doesn't
job.
Exactly. Tom
Did a
Sawyer,
good
come
job
on,
of
Neil
condensing
Peart.
it down. You know, no, I would have liked to have heard more Dan Henley referenced. I'm just saying, you need to take a ride,
Don.
all right, on heavy metal.
Dan.
Don Henley?
Done.
Did I
My
say Dan?
favorite,
Yes, you
Daniel
did.
Oh,
Henley.
damn, my bad.
Look at you, look at you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe you got your Van
Millennial have to
Halen
correct
on.
you.
Look, I'm sorry.
When Eddie introduced
Look, it's
synthesizer.
IOI faking the funk has got me all.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Which you
Sorry,
broke
man.
up the band eventually, but go ahead.
Pac-Man fever going on. Okay, go ahead, Yoko. Run for us. What's up?
You a mess. All right, so effectively, I thought the movie was great. It's a great interpretation of the book. They did the best they possibly can because the book is like over 300 pages.
The book is long. The book is thorough too. Non-stop
It
references.
is
where
so intense. I mean, I went through the book twice. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'd do it one more time because it's so much into it.
yeah,
But
I'm
it's great.
impressed you did.
I mean, it's a great book. I like it.
I liked it, but I couldn't go back to it.
I had to, man, because I mean, it's a lot, and also I wanted to make sure I'm professional, compare the differences between the book and the movie.
Rubbing
Look
that
at
in. You know what?
You're
You know what?
not
I-
professional.
I
You didn't
will
have a
take that
bother
because
reading
because your method of mocking is to do better, and I like and will exploit that to the fullest.
Well, thank you,
All
sir.
right, now to those of us who didn't read the book, you jive suckers, what did y'all think?
I read the book. That's why I didn't
I
see
loved
the
it so
movie.
much. I had to go buy the book.
Okay.
I went straight. I
Wow.
saw it again. We saw
The
it
movie
Tuesday.
inspired you to buy the book?
Yeah.
Which is
What a great,
interesting.
what a great movie, by the way.
Because
You know,
we
that's
watched
the
the
case.
screening and he told me that some of the stuff was done halfway, like the first key wasn't found the way it was in the movie.
No,
like,
they
it wasn't
changed a
book.
lot.
So
They changed a lot.
I'm just interested to see how the book interprets everything. But the references were crazy. I was
Yeah.
just, and I had to watch it. I watched it again that Saturday with my kid, and I'm just sitting there like
Honestly, it's
Battletoads, Spartans, Gundam Wing, like dude,
see that's it. It's
ridiculous.
made for you. So, but
You know what I
anytime
mean?
no matter what it is, anytime a movie that can make you inspires you to go like, let me go buy this book. Like I think the movie does well.
Yeah,
You
it
know
did
what I
good.
mean?
It's
It's
phenomenally
few
well
and far
done.
between. You know what I mean?
Well, so that thing-
But I'm not gonna say and tell you it was Spielberg's best work.
Oh no,
You know what I
not
mean?
at all.
But-
But I think Spielberg did a
Spielberg
great job.
made E.T. Like you're not gonna beat that. Like
I mean, he did
Man,
Color
you know what I
Purple.
mean?
I mean, that's it's a great movie, great book. But any of it, I mean, but it's intense. I mean, Spielberg got rage. But I mean, it's the
And when he referenced Color Purple in this, I was damn surprised.
when I saw Mister come out.
No, the best
movie right
reference was
now.
Goldie. Remember that? We both saw the poster of Goldie.
We saw
the
Goldie.
movie.
We're like,
Yeah.
Goldie Wilson.
All right, I want to point out something now. Mind you, we are referencing a lot of the stuff that you'd expect to see, classic stuff, but they did a good job, a really good job, I think, of updating this too. In the book,
I agree.
a lot of the references kind of peter out around maybe 95, the mid 90s
Yes, okay.
there,
Yes.
and this did a
Which
great
for
job.
us is in that sweet spot. But anybody newer probably.
Yeah,
would be
anybody
like,
who knew would be like, this is all old stuff. It's like reading Catcher in the Rye in our generation. It's like it was a big thing like previous generations. To us, it's just a book. You know, they did a good. I mean, Overwatch is in this.
Yep.
You know, Overwatch references,
Halo references.
Halo references. I really appreciate that they acknowledge. Yes, this has all this reference material, but we also have to make it more palatable to fans. Also, I appreciate that it was done well because a lot of movies have tried to update the source material, and they've done such crappy jobs of it. It's been embarrassing. And this one, I think, is one where they paid more attention. And I don't know if that's having Spielberg behind it. I don't know if it's just having a stronger base or that their target audience would be so discerning.
I mean, it's a PG-13 movie, so you know where Spielberg's going with it. A, I think B, you had Klein there at the table with him. I mean, Spielberg was destined trying to make sure that it wasn't a love letter to himself, to the point where he didn't even want to have the DeLorean in there. I mean, you see the promotion material, DeLorean's in there. And Klein had to say, listen, man, you got to have the DeLorean in there. First off, this is my favorite vehicle, and I specifically want this in there.
Well,
and the only reason...
who's connected more to the youth than Spielberg? Honestly, like that, like when we were kids, like who captured the imagination more than like Steven Spielberg?
You know, he's not wrong. The choices for us would have been, just considering our specific generation, who we are, would have been either Spielberg or Scorsese. And Martin Scorsese's Ready Player One may have been a bit much, I think.
No, I
a little more violent.
You'd wanna see
Sure,
it?
but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
I don't
you think of E.T., you think of Hook, you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
think these movies with kids is like that is my
Yes.
childhood. You know what I
Yes.
mean? There's so many movies. It's like that boyhood wonder. You know what I mean? Like it's always like there's a missing father or something like that. There's something like childhood, something hinging the main character, something like that that you feel, and it's like no one ever tapped into that better than Spielberg. So for an 80s reference person, you know what I mean? Like who are you gonna get that's better?
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean?
Quentin Tarantino. The movie starts off, Parsifal loses his arm.
Someone's getting their ear cut off in the background. Yeah. Some great
You see
70s song
H
playing, you
behind
know.
the door, shivering.
Scene opens. Percival walks to the door. You damn.
The final battle is set to Stuck in the Middle with you.
I don't know if I can say that word on live, man, so I'm just gonna leave it there.
But no one captures the imagination.
I mean, I
That's
do want to bring the dark side to this. I mean, there's folks who are harshly criticizing the movie and what the movie did or didn't do. One of the things that was up front in the book was speaking about H's race and sexuality, and that was incredibly glossed over in this movie.
I did notice that. And we mentioned that at the time because that bugged me.
I mean, it bugged me too, but I'm also looking at
The character casted for the role,
and I thought I was like, you know what,
made up for that.
I thought that was the case too. I was like, you kind of went about it a roundabout sort of way by casting on Lena Waithe in that particular role. Okay, fine, I hear you, but the fact that it wasn't specifically stated as it was stated in the book, I definitely see why that rubbed some folks the wrong way. I mean,
parts of it were given like Cliff's Notes. You know, because that was a big reveal in the book.
It was
But
huge.
I think because we're familiar with it in the book, we know how deep it was there versus had someone gone in without that foreknowledge and just seen the scene, they'd have been like, oh, I see they're trying to cover this. They're doing kind of a half-assed job of it, but at least they're there. Moving on. You know, because that's pretty much how the movie approached it, and having the background information of the book, it was actually a thing and got, I think, the respect that reveal would have deserved. That's
thought so too.
I think Mix disagrees.
I
snickering
really,
off.
I absolutely hate this book, and I'm just staying. I don't want to yuck y'all's yum. I did not see this movie. I hate the book. I've read the book in full. I have a lot of issues with it.
Mm.
But I know that everybody's like having a real good time, and that's okay. I
Well,
don't have to like what y'all like.
I
I don't have to like it.
What do you dislike about it? Like, what's your
I
main,
mean,
like,
on the
what's the main thing?
The main thing is that it's yet another example of this, like, not just cultural. Well, okay, I can get to the cultural appropriation because all of the Japanese characters and usage of things it's just it goes beyond cliche to being really just insulting in a way that, as a reader, as someone that is a very big fan of Japanese pop culture, obviously, I personally am not a Japanese person, so I cannot speak to it on that level. But it just felt gross. And then the female characters, the main female character is
horrible
very
in the book.
Oh my god!
Horrible.
And again,
Horrible.
I'm not speaking to the film. I want to make that very clear. I did not see this film because.
But no, your opinion is valid.
But
I know.
she's just a trope. She's just there to further the plot. She's there to be that basically, like, I'm gonna get the girl, and the nerd guy never gets the girl. But if I power up enough, I'm gonna get the girl.
She's the princess in another castle.
Yeah, and again, this again, I can't speak to the movie, but it turned me off from this media so much that I had no interest in seeing the movie.
And I think Spielberg tried to answer that by...
Which sounds great. That sounds great to hear.
Trying to empower her, because I mean, in the book, you're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. That the whole story is driven by him. It's him doing everything, which is very different in the movie. Because in the movie, you see all the things that he achieved in the book distributed out to everybody else. So everything you saw in the movie, in terms of what Artemis did, what H did, he did all that stuff in the book. Slight spoiler for you, bro.
No,
sorry,
right.
but I mean, it's very much driven by him. And I mean, I knew that walking into the book, that it's essentially this book by this young white guy who sees himself as the hero. And like you said, she's just another princess to save.
It's very much also draws from kind of this white perspective of anime and gaming, and it felt very, again, it just gave me like an icky feeling reading it, you know, as someone, especially as a young feminine nerd, like having that feeling of otherness and that feeling of like, this isn't for you. And that's something that did not inspire me to go see this movie, and it's wonderful to hear that the movie doesn't have that. It's wonderful to hear that.
That is in line with a lot of the criticisms the story's gotten over the years. And the movie did its best.
I think
and
so.
I'm not defending any of that.
Oh,
Because some of it is present, but
it's wonderful for me to sit here and hear you guys say, like, the movie did better. And that's all that a movie interpretation of a book can hope to do, is if you have source material that's kind of either alienating or problematic in some way, to rise to that occasion and say, like, look, man, it's 2018, let's do better. And that's wonderful. Like, I hope that people listening or watching are like, you know, maybe I will check it out because it does sound like it did a better job.
It did a much better job. It also did a better job of like condensing the story and try to make these things make sense.
Yeah.
But it's still getting those same criticisms, and I think a lot of them are still valid. But also keep in mind, like, it started off, that original story started off as very imperfect. The movie itself has done what it can, but I think it may have been SOL from the very beginning on those particular fronts. Yeah. I really like this picture, but I really like the way it was done and the story they presented and the things that they threw in that made more sense than they would have in the book.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you're right. The relationship between Artemis and
Percival,
and Percival is a different take on a princess fantasy. You know, those are things you can't get around without completely changing the story. And while I'm not defending that, I do see why it was in there.
I would say in the book, yes. I say in the movie, no.
I see how they did empower her more, but at the end of the day, it was pretty much like they were on that relationship like that.
I mean, I think they did that. I think they did it to establish there is a relationship between it, but the fact that it wasn't her chasing, it wasn't dominated by her just kind of being there. It was him being weak. It was him pursuing her, but she's her own woman. She's her own woman making the decision whether or not she even wants to engage with him. At the same time, she had her own vision in mind. It wasn't that I'm chasing after the egg because the boys are chasing after the egg. It was very much I'm doing this because I see something bigger. I'm the bigger person because I see how this impacts our world at large. Whereas he was just a self-centered, weak dude in many ways, and eventually got empowered. But without a doubt, she holds this whole thing together because without her, there's no way he could have solved it.
True.
Whereas in the book, he did everything himself, and he really didn't need her or anybody.
Yeah,
honestly,
that's one thing. That's one thing that did irk me a little bit in the book. Despite the fact he was kind of a douche, he was more self-reliant.
Mm-hmm.
He was a more capable character. Like we're more quick to jump to be on his side because it's like this is a talented dude who's just in a bad situation. He lives in the poorest part, essentially the poorest part of the world. And he's getting beaten every day by both his aunt and his Well, wow, damn, all right. All right. Any of our listeners that might be in Ohio right now, the views of ravishing Rick Olive.
Sorry. I'm a Patriots guy, so.
All right.
Thanks for Corey Dillon back in the day.
It's a family show. We were talking about dicks earlier. Okay, so
wall to wall.
All right, so we still have a few minutes, dude. I want to hear your opinions on some of the changes they did make because there is one scene in here that was never in the book, but I think made this movie. And I feel like you know what I'm talking about.
You're talking about the
absolutely, absolutely
the movie scene you talking about, right?
Yes.
What they call the flick sync.
When they found the second key.
Yeah, the flick sync.
That didn't happen. In the
that
book,
didn't happen.
I mean,
There was a movie. It was
two different movies.
Yeah.
Very different movies. Very different movies. I loved it. I was surprised that they went that route with that movie, considering the movies they used in the book. I'm like, the movies they used in the book were. And for many ways, probably G-rated or PG-13. I mean, this was clearly a rated R movie that they used to do the flick sync, and I thought it was amazing. I thought they did the best job they could with it, because I know one of the big issues with them using the other movies that were in the book was licensing. That was a big part of it. And it was like it took too much time to be able to be able to CG all those other people in there, whereas all they had to do was the scene. Yes. For the movie they used, for the movie reference they used.
I was really hoping they'd use a little bit, considering what movie this is, they'd use a little bit of the Simpsons parody of that, because that would have made my day. But that's asking a bit much.
Almost messed around and said it. Yeah, I got you.
All right. Well, that's what made it for me. Anyone else?
Me too. Almost lost my mind when I saw that movie was the one they was going to choose. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. It caught me off guard.
My favorite line was the Tab line. When he was talking to
he's talking to him in his ear.
One in the ear, and he was just telling him like all this pop culture reference, and he's like, "Yeah, I like to drink Tab, and I like to do." I'm like, I haven't heard Tab
and listen to Duran.
Give me a tab. I can't give you a tab unless you order something, pal.
Like seriously, with all due respect, everyone in this room, who has drank Tab?
I did.
I've tasted it.
Yeah.
I've tasted it at some point. That's wait.
Where can you get it? Where can I get it?
20 years ago.
eBay.
eBay. They did a reboot. They did a
Yo, if you can find it on eBay and actually like
my mom loves Tab.
I would love to watch that.
Free.
Before the re-releases of everything, cats were getting like Crystal Pepsi off eBay. Cats were getting
Ecto Cooler.
Ecto Cooler. Drinking these old ass juice boxes.
I don't know if I would have drank Crystal Pepsi from like.
I don't want to drink new Crystal Pepsi.
One of my favorite ones.
When it came out.
One of my favorite ones about like 2 years before the re-release of Crystal Pepsi. This dude had a video on. He ordered some Crystal Pepsi on YouTube.
Oh, I think I saw that.
I had a 20-year-old gum on the show. Like, we can do anything.
He cracked it open, and it didn't fit us naturally.
Oh man!
Cracked it open. He's like, okay, 20-year-old Crystal Pepsi. That actually tastes really good. Time lapse. 5 minutes later. Okay. That was something maybe off.
Yeah,
5 minutes later.
I forgot to tell you about the tape.
Hair falls out.
His hair falls out.
It's like radioactive with the chemo in the span of 15 minutes.
Seriously.
Oh boy.
It actually had cocaine in it.
I wonder if you
It
can
turned
get
into crystals. Yeah.
get that on eBay.
Take that Highlander episode.
It's classic Coke.
Classic.
Classic Coke.
Classic Coke.
Sprinkle a little Coke on it.
All right.
Take a little crack on it.
Anyway.
All right. Mix is dying for a tab right now.
Oh yeah.
All right. I do have to say I didn't expect to enjoy this, and I really did.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give it a thumbs up. And
why not? Give everything else a thumbs up.
Ooh.
Oh,
Final hate.
Hey.
Finish.
As Pat drinks his drink, he shows somebody standing.
I hate you. I don't even know you. And I hate your guts.
I hope all the bad things happen in the world. Nobody except you.
Right.
It's a movie where you have to acknowledge a few things. Like if you can complain about the CG, the entire flick takes place in a video game.
Pretty much.
So I mean, that's kind of something you can't get around. The 1,000-mile stairs, it's gonna happen. They're all animated. The references are wall to wall. If you think it's excessive, you're probably walking into the wrong movie. They do a lot of stuff differently, and probably a lot of things you think I would have done it this way. But you know what? Hey, suck it. You didn't make the movie. And I have my complaints. I've said a couple of them, including the absolute one that got me because it's a much better reference they could have made, and they didn't. But
I'm assuming that wasn't in the book either.
No, that was very different in the book.
Okay.
Read the book. There was so much different in the book.
So much different.
And if you're a big fan of the book, watch this, and it's going to be like a Cliff's Notes, where they change a lot of stuff, and it's much shorter. But if they had done like the book proper, this would have been like the Lord of the Rings trilogy length.
Which I will watch every day of my life.
You'll watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy length, Ready Player One. You heard it here first.
I'm ready to
Mitch
watch
McCobb
Lord of the Rings.
endorses.
No, I'm ready to watch Lord of the Rings every day.
All right, and not
Watched
everyone.
2 Towers yesterday.
All right, not everyone's a fan. It's A-OK. Black Animalists. We're gonna change your mind one day, man.
I might give it a try when it's not in theaters.
I'm on board for it. If you can do it, go ahead.
All right. Well, I've gushed about this enough. I don't know why you let me talk so long, JM.
Enthusiastic thumbs up. I mean, it's a great study of seeing how you take this book that's a cult classic that it has issues, it has some serious issues, and see someone like Spielberg try to, in many ways, rectify those issues, but at the same time, be conscious of the fact that you got younger viewers who are watching this, who may not be engaged with 80s culture. At the same time, you got to make sure you adhere to the PG-13 rating, and at the same time, make sure you get all those licensing. So it's really good to be able to see how he was able to do this. So for me, it's watching a Spielberg project is what's interesting to me about it. So I love that. That's a good thumbs up.
All right.
Thumbs up for me, man. I, as somebody who's never seen the property, read the book, made me buy the books because I really want to read it and see what the differences are. But simultaneously, I enjoyed it because it just helped me connect with my kid a little more because my kid really enjoyed it. And like, I'm not lying when I told you we went home and played Battletoads on my little Sega emulator. I was like, because they're all over the movie, and I kept saying Battletoads. He's like, what the hell is a Battletoad?
Wait. So was he like, Dad, what are those? You're like, I'm gonna show you, son. You put it on. He's like, what the hell is this? Why do you hate me? He's like, Dad, how you give me a game that I can't beat?
He enjoyed playing it with me for like the first 20 minutes, and then he just said, hey, I gotta go back to Rainbow Six.
You can't go home again, brother. It's not his generation. No,
I know.
You can't go home again.
You know what that is? That's
DL Hughley, that whole thing. Yeah,
that's the equivalent of forcing someone who spends his days playing like Counter-Strike to, hey, no, let me show you how we played back in my day. You give him a hoop with a stick.
Back in my day.
So you said you have a Genesis console?
It's like an emulator. I bought it.
Okay, I thought you rolled up.
Replica model.
Took the cartridge. Your son is like, hold on, what the hell? What is that? That's not like
if I wanted to go,
like
I can go out tomorrow and buy physical cartridges and actually slide it. It looks like the old 16.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah.
I got that one. I know your son was like, hold on, what? You broke it out.
Get it.
Hold, let me get that rubbing
My son
alcohol.
doesn't
Blow your mind, son.
Alcohol cube dip. That's it.
Let me go get my Game Genie to work this out, son.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. So now, hold up. Now, properly, what does this get on the Richter scale?
2 thumbs up.
All right.
I'm not gonna make that joke.
That's we're gonna let your reviews from now on the Richter scale.
I'm going up 2 thumbs up. I enjoy it.
All right. So that's Ready Player One. It's available in theaters now, starring Ty Hedgerton. I don't want to call him Joel. I don't know why. Ty Sheridan. God dang it! Looks like looks like a young skinny Tom Hardy.
The Tree of Life, by the way, the Terrence Malick movie.
Yeah, man, that fool looks like Tom Hardy from Star Trek. Tell me I'm wrong. Ever seen Layer Cake? All right. Anyway,
I keep forgetting that he was that villain.
Because he's scrawny as dude.
Yeah, he looks nothing like he does now.
Absolutely not. Tom Hardy. Have you seen?
He was the Nemesis. He was the villain. He was the Romulan.
Yeah.
No.
Tom Hardy was the Romulan in that.
Yeah,
he was. He was the villain.
Well, he was the clone. The
clone
of Picard.
Romulan or whatever.
Okay, I'm like, he wasn't the main Romulan in that.
No, he was the clone of Picard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. No, he was the captain of the ship.
Shinzon. Was it Shinzon?
He was captain of the ship in that one, right?
Yeah, Shinzon. That was the skinny ass Tom Hardy.
Yeah, I know.
I think you.
That's why I keep forgetting. Whenever I see it, I was like, damn, I forgot he was.
Oh, stop it. Oh, brother.
All
right. Tom Hardy. Wait, well, okay. Well, I want to know officially.
Are we talking about the twink twonk
we have exactly minus 2 minutes because we are over time now. I just want to know. He started off as a twink. What is he now?
He started off as a twink.
Yeah.
Then he was a twunk when he was like. So a twunk is like he was like a little too old to still be a twink, and he was starting to get ripped, so he was a twunk.
Twunk.
Now it depends. So now he's on like a sliding scale. It depends. It depends because like I would put him at like maybe like if not a full bear, maybe like a cub in Mad Max, for example.
But he's not hairy.
But no, man. I mean, there's different grades
that's
to
correct.
this.
We're asking that.
There's different grades to this. I mean, it depends on what he's in. Because he's such a chameleon. It depends on like how beefy is he.
That's true.
Because if you're talking about Legend, for example, I mean, we're right back into possibly like a twunk daddy.
I mean, even that movie Warriors when he played the MMA guy with a teacher or whatever and his brother.
Yeah, or like if we're talking about like Bronson, if we're going back to Bronson,
so ridiculous for that movie.
That
like
mustache?
I know he shot up. He had to juice.
All right,
that's juicing.
All right,
and then he
this
turns
has
around and
been
plays the twins.
the Tom Hardy scale from twink to
Tom Hardy from twink to
Thanks
twunk.
for listening in to the Geek Down.
All right, this has been the Geek Down here on.
You can email any photos
Stop it.
off of Tom Hardy's original